Welcome back to the My Team series, and we've got our 10th contestant today to take on the challenge and see where he comes out in the league table. It's Rich Clarke at Rich Clarke FPL on Twitter. Rich, welcome. Let's see how you get on.
Hopefully this will go well, and I really like the My Team tool as well. Really great feature.
Yeah, My Team's good fun, and the algorithm has been learning and it's been improving and it's taken lots of things into account. But the team rating we generate for you will be accurate at time of recording. It might change afterwards, but we'll slap you on the table and we'll keep an eye on it all nonetheless. So we'll jump straight over to the team. Rich, tell us first off your goalkeeper.
Okay, yeah, slightly off template choice here. I'm going to go for Hugo Lloris in goal.
Ooh.
Not seen too many drafts with Lloris in. I like the premium keeper price point for this season. I think 5.5 offers great value, and obviously there are alternatives with Ederson and Alisson, but I just feel that that's taking up a City or Liverpool slot that I might want to use outfield. So for me, for the first week, I like Lloris in goal, and then as a backup, 4 million backup, I've just chosen Caballero of Southampton. I don't see myself having 3 Southampton players ever. Yeah.
Do you think you could be going triple City anytime soon? Because what I'm finding in drafts I build is that there's definitely space for Ederson, and I'm contemplating it.
Yeah, Ederson's the alternative. I may still go that route, but similarly, I'm watching the Kyle Walker situation as well to see what unfolds there. And if no extra defender is signed, then he becomes another option in the defence. So I think there's lots of City options. I think we'll talk about Grealish, etc. later on, but. Yeah, plenty of options. I don't necessarily want to tie it up in the keeper, though.
Have you got any City defenders?
I do, and João Cancelo comes straight in for me, and along with...
We lock him in first,
so... I think pretty much he's in every team along with Trent, so you can put Trent in for me. I won't be deviating from that, and we don't need to take too long to speak about these two. I think the only sad thing is they're such great players, but they'll be kind of neutralised, won't they, when the season comes around with the engaged player base. We'll have them in almost every team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those, again, I say this in most of these videos now, people in comments can be like, oh, well done, you picked a template team, but equally, there's a reason the likes of Cancelo and Trent are in the template. What is it stands out about them for you? Is it just the points versus price tag?
Yeah, it's the I think they were both were underpriced given the points they returned last year and the fact that they offer so many routes to points as well. So both City and Liverpool keep between 18 and 20 clean sheets every year. You've got that plus the strong attacking return potential there means that for the sort of 7.5 million level, they're worth it. They're just worth it, and you don't need to think about it any more than that.
Yeah, absolutely locked. Okay, this is where maybe it might change a little bit. Who's your third defender?
Yeah, I'm going for a bit of a big at the back. Maybe not as big as some teams, but I'm also doubling up on Liverpool here. So Andrew Robertson comes into this draft for me. Big debate over whether to go for him over Luis Diaz. I just think that there's the million saving because I've been a bit extravagant with the goalkeeper. I'd just like to save that million on Diaz for now and cover the third Liverpool spot with Robertson. Really, I've got the 3 most expensive defenders in the game there. To start me off, and then behind Robertson, another heavy hitter. I've also gone for Reece James based on his explosive potential. Although he's not as reliable and consistent for points, we saw last season what he can do in small bursts between injuries, and he's definitely got that potential again with some of the signings that Chelsea have made this season. So I really like Reece James as the Chelsea option. And then
Reece James is a proper heartbreaker, at least last season, where you'd get him in and he'd do nothing, then you get rid of him and he'd do something, and then you try and get him back in and he'd do nothing, and then you get rid of him and he'd do something.
Absolutely. And then I kind of managed to dodge most of his hauls last season. I think there was something like a 15-week period where he scored noughts and ones, either side of a 36-point haul in game week 28 or something. It was really quite difficult to pin him down for the returns, but I got him in towards the end, and he got me a few returns towards the end of the season. So I'm going to give him another chance, especially while he's first choice and fit. So he's worth having.
Locked.
And then,
Locked. Well, based on what you've said, I'm imagining this player's a bit more budget.
Well, no. Well, maybe not as much. And you can probably help me out with pronouncing his name, actually, John. So I would try and put my best Irish lilt on here and say Matt Doherty or something. But how
Doherty,
how do you pronounce his name? Let's hear it from you.
Well, like it depends. Like it depends again. In Ireland, there's many dialects. It depends on where you're from. I would say Doherty, but some people would say Doherty.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, you've nailed it. Close enough.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so again, I know I've got the Tottenham double up here. I think Doherty would be first choice at the start of the season, although they do have a lot of options in the wing-back position, Tottenham, but their first fixture's so inviting that I think I'm going to go for that 5 million spot there, although that 5 million spot could quite easily become Gabriel from Arsenal or... Trippier. There's quite a lot of good options at 5 million, but I'm sticking my neck out here and going for Matt Doherty.
A new 5 million asset that people might, during the series, this transfer has happened. So I just want to ask your thoughts on Zinchenko. Mm-hmm. How does that affect the likes of Tierney and Arsenal's setup, or what are your thoughts on him?
Zinchenko's an exciting prospect, but I'm not sure he's going to go sort of straight into the side and be nailed every week. Arsenal have a lot of midfield options, and so if he is going to play further up the pitch, that means one of the likes of Odegaard or Saka or Martinelli or Smith Rowe may lose their place, or maybe. So I just think there's a little bit of jeopardy over where Zinchenko's going to play, and is he going to be first choice left back over Tierney? I don't know, just a little bit of doubt over that position. I think he's an interesting option, but maybe not immediately. I'd like to see how he goes.
Yeah, a bit of a wait and see.
Yeah, I think so. It could be kind of like first wild card. If he established himself in the team, he's playing out of position, then he's an easy switch on the first wild card, maybe.
Well, you've told me you've got 3 Liverpool slots filled and you're not going for Diaz, so I'm assuming Salah's locked in midfield.
Salah's in, yeah, definitely. Although I might not captain him for week 1.
Is it absolutely crazy if someone goes without Salah? Is that like an absolute no, you're mad, or do you think it's even remotely viable because everyone's going with him so far? Is there a world where you shouldn't, or is it just a no-brainer?
I think it's a little risky. If he starts off by like he did last season, pretty much scoring 1 or 2 goals every week for the first 10 weeks. If you haven't got him in your team, you'll never make up the ground. So why take the risk there? I mean, the only reason I would sort of maybe go without Salah would be because I definitely want 3 other premiums, and it's much more affordable to get the 3 premium or maybe the 3 plus premium team, depending on, say, Darwin Núñez. If he kicks off in the Community Shield this weekend, all of a sudden you could go Núñez instead of Salah. You could still have the 2 defenders, or you could go Luis Diaz and 1 defender. You've got lots of other options. But if cheaper options from Liverpool emerge and are nailed, then going without Salah becomes more viable. Certainly if the Spurs guys and Haaland also start off firing. So it's not impossible to go without him because he is, clearly the most expensive asset. But I'll be sticking with him. He's just proven.
Yeah, he's proven. Yeah. That's it. Reliable. Who is your second midfielder?
Okay, my second midfielder. This is where the cracks are going to start appearing, John. My second midfielder is Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal.
Okay.
We've just talked about Zinchenko. We've talked about Arsenal's investment in the summer, and they're looking really good pre-season. Obviously wallop Chelsea at the weekend. Martinelli at 6 million I think is a steal. I think he should start most games, should go really well with his Brazilian teammate up front, and I really like him as an option. So he's coming in at 6 million.
And just on Martinelli, an interesting thing here when I'm looking at the chart, if we look at the 4 game week predicted points, he's hanging in there in sort of the top 10 with price tags of 13, 12, 12, 10, 8, 8. He's at 6 million, and then the players below him are 10, 8, 7.5, 8.5, 8, 7, 7. So it really does sort of support your value statement. He does look great value at 6 million. And with fixtures like that, if he's nailed, rotation is the only issue maybe with Smith Rowe on the left. Who knows? I own Zinchenko coming in, but
I owned Smith Rowe for a lot of last season and caught a lot of his goals. He was like my first bencher, but he eventually lost his place to Martinelli, got it back again, and lost it again. So at the moment, he hasn't had much of a pre-season, if anything, Smith Rowe. So I think Martinelli is pretty safe to start the first few games. He's slightly riskier than Saka. Obviously, Saka's got the reliability of starts, but that 2 million goes a long way. So I'm going with Martinelli.
And before we get on to your next option, I just want to let people know, if they want to give this a crack, click the link in the description, head over, sign up the hub. There's a massive 50% off now if you want to go for one of the paid subscriptions. And also there is a win your mini league or your money back guarantee. There's T's and C's attached with that. Check them out. But it's a great time to sign up in the build up to pre-season. So Rich, your third midfielder.
Third midfielder is Pedro Neto. He's obviously very popular in a lot of drafts at the moment. A lot of submissions on this very show have gone for Neto. I think for 5.5, Wolves' fixtures in the first 6 are very strong, and they're going pretty well in pre-season. I think he's scored 3 times in pre-season, so over his injury worries from last year, I think he's, again, underpriced. I think for this year and to get off to a good start, if you're shopping the value well, you should be in a good position here to move forward with the strong assets. So Neto's in partly on price, but also on fixtures just to cover that Wolves attack.
Yeah, the fixtures look great. We've got Leeds, Fulham, and then even Bournemouth in the first 5, and that Newcastle is also there. It's Spurs really the only challenge in the first 5, the only proper challenge. Even Southampton's beautiful in 6 before Liverpool. So Neto is kind of the meta pick for the 5.5 price point or below, and I was trying to go without him in my drafts, but I've just kind of succumbed to it now, and I've sort of he's there. Okay, so I'm imagining the next 2 in midfield are going to be enablers, or is there any?
Yeah, they're kind of enablers. Always a little bit of an enabler plus in here. I've squeaked out an extra $500,000 to put in Leon Bailey as my 4th.
Oh, I like it.
Mid. So Bailey's been out again, having another great pre-season. I guess the doubt with Bailey is that he may not start every game, although he seems to be forcing his way into Steven Gerrard's reckoning. I do the Green Arrow with Adam Hopcroft, who, as you know, is a real big Villa fan, and I've been checking with Adam about Leon's chances of starting, and he's very confident that he will start the season, although he said he has got a bit of competition for places. So I'd rather have, say, Bailey as my first bencher than a 4.5. I think having a 5 million player, someone who is attacking, who can come on if, say, Doherty or James gets dropped for a game, you've got that attacking mid to come on and still get you some attacking points. So quite like that, even though he's 5 million, he's got potential for good returns.
Yeah, he's looked great in pre-season, and I think I do think he'll start based on managers' comments, but he had such pedigree coming from the Bundesliga. I think in the season before he came, he had something like 30 games for 9 goals, 9 assists. Leverkusen, obviously a very attacking team, and he was part of that trip that was brought in to replace Grealish. And it's safe to say they kind of under-delivered, but in pre-season, been doing well. I think Villa have actually recruited quite well as well, so maybe this season will be better for them.
Yeah.
So I think being able to squeak that extra $500,000 could really pay for itself if one of these guys ends up getting rotated, and that is the risk when people are going big at the back with 5 guys, because if one of them doesn't play, you do need a sub to come in. You just do need a sub to come in. You from further up the pitch. So whenever people are going for really, really budget midfielders and like a 4.5 forward, they're kind of hamstringing themselves with that big at the back play if any of those guys are rotated.
And that's really my thinking. That's why the just worth spending the extra 0.5 to get that security, if you like. And there's no one really else at that 5.0 level in the midfield, I don't think. Is there? Can you think of anyone who competing with him at the 5?
To be honest with you, at the 5 million mark, there's no one who really jumps out at me. I think he is the standout. Trying to 5 million usually in FPL equates to defensive midfield or a guy who doesn't really do much, but having an attacking player in a team that can't score with okay fixtures, you can't get much more than Bailey, I think. Who is your 5th midfielder?
The 5th one is one that's been discussed widely, so that's Andreas Pereira of Fulham, just come across from Man United and is filling that ideal, going to play 4.5 million bench spot. So I haven't, I'm feeling that I'm possibly the only manager without Neco Williams in my squad. I've got to have a 4.5 bargain basement player from somewhere. So in comes Pereira for me to fill that cheapest possible spot.
Tough games, but hopefully he can get some game time there and just a secure 1 pointer off the bench if you need it, maybe 2 if we're lucky, or even a few more, who knows.
Yeah,
hopefully. So I'm assuming you've got a premium forward in here somewhere.
I do, and at the moment it's Harry Kane over Haaland for me, just based on reputation, 5-6 seasons of Golden Boot experience, great pre-season form, great fixtures for Tottenham. I think he scored 5 goals in pre-season already, and just looks more ready than Haaland. Haaland, obviously, I think he got 40 minutes at the weekend and did score. And obviously we've got the Community Shield to have another look at him at the weekend. But I think for me at the moment, Kane is the safer pick and obviously has the more favourable fixture, I think, with a home game against Southampton to start the season. So it's an easy switch. I do think managers need to cover that price point with one or the other. I've seen lots of drafts with both Haaland and Kane in, and it's not a bad shout. But having that much money in the forward line doesn't feel right to me. So I'm going with Kane.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
both could do great. Both probably will do great.
I think they both will do great. I just think there's probably more chance of Haaland getting taken off with the 5 subs in the first few weeks, just while Pep looks after his fitness. That's another reason, just for waiting and seeing. And again, it's an easy switch. You can swap for Haaland in game week 2 if you want. You probably have to be quick because if he does well in the first game, his price will start rising. But there is that opportunity to just do a sideways move to Haaland if you fancy him for the Bournemouth game in the second week. But I'm okay with Kane at the moment. He's in for me.
I'm actually, you've kind of made me feel a bit more secure in my decision because everyone comes in and picks Haaland and you've picked Kane and I'm like, at least Rich has my back. So I've got Kane too. You've got Kane. Yeah. Great. Who is the second forward?
All right, the second one I'm much more sure about. This is Gabriel Jesus. Again, I think Arsenal look really, really strong this season, pre-season. I think he's a great signing. He'll certainly be the main man or have the chance to be the main man for Arsenal up front. And I think his price is a steal at 8 million. I think he could come in at 9.5 even. So really happy with him at 8. And again, it's a nice price point. You can come down to whatever form option emerges in the 6.5 or below bracket after the first couple of weeks if it's not going right at Arsenal. But I can see myself holding Jesus at least till the wild card there and having having the double up front.
Yeah, I think Arsenal look great and have a lot of creative players in there behind. I think Odegaard's going to have an absolute field day, to be honest with you, supplying Jesus. I just hope Jesus, sorry, people keep correcting me. It's not Jesus, it's Jesus. So Jesus, I think he'll be unreal. The fixtures are good, and as I've pulled up here on the tool, over the first 4 game weeks, he's predicted to get the most points of any striker when you take Haaland and Kane out of it. So the likes of Vardy at 9.5, Ronaldo at 10.5. I don't think there's much outside that in the way of matching his price. Well, there are people who match it like Havertz and Calvert-Lewin, but in terms of beating it, I just think he provides the best value, and we really do. Having the likes of him there, even if it doesn't go to plan, there's so many guys you can go to. You can go to the Wilsons, the Tonys. For me, he's one of the most nailed players in my team as well.
Okay, all right.
So you've got a 4.5 enabler up top. So, which one have you opted for?
I've gone for Archer. He's had some decent pre-season minutes, and also there's quite a lot of people have gone for Greenwood of Leeds, but I think there's a chance his price could drop in the first few weeks as people chop and change around. So really for the third bencher, I'd rather have someone with lower ownership than Greenwood. That's my only logic behind it, really. Could be anybody.
Rich, I'm going to give you one chance if you wish. You can tinker, you can change, or is this what we're locking in?
No, I think for this exercise, this is good. I mean, I might be tempted to move Doherty out next week for someone, but I'll stick with him for the purposes of this exercise because I think Tottenham have got a good fixture. So I like the fact I've got a couple of Spurs players when other teams maybe don't have any or have less. So let's see how this goes. I've got 3 Spurs, in fact. Yeah, it's probably the only one in your competition with 3 Spurs. So let's see how we go.
Yeah, big triple up on Liverpool and on Spurs. So we're going to generate this and see how you get on. Okay, Rich, so 96% puts you in second place, just behind Big Man Bakar, who got 97%, and you're ahead of Flapjack and FPL Salah, who were on 94s. This is accurate at time of recording, and now remember, this algorithm will change over time. This percentage will probably change based on players' minutes in pre-season, their form, and different things like that. There's lots of facets to this algorithm, and it's constantly improving. On to the next one. Please like and subscribe before you leave.
Thanks, John.